Hey everybody, and thank you for watching the season finale of Makeup Trailer Talk. In this episode, we get to know a little bit more about Jim Ojala of Ojala Productions. He's a makeup and effects artist, shop owner, as well as a writer-director. Let's talk.
Hi, I'm Jim Ojala. I'm a filmmaker and owner of Ojala Productions Special Makeup and Creature Effects. And this is Makeup Trailer Talk.
Thank you, Jim, for being here today. Everybody, I want to introduce you to Jim Ojala. Jim and I met when we were both department heading on an independent feature. Where is Jim's origin story placed?
I am from Duluth, Minnesota.
How does a guy get from Minnesota nice
to LA nasty? yeah. So as my mom likes to say, I was filing medical record charts and being a maintenance man and all these things in Duluth. I discovered public access television, and it was like a revelation to me. So it was like, well, we can go into people's living rooms and basically just like shove whatever crazy vision we have down their throats as long as they have the channel on. I mean, this is before YouTube. So I took the classes on how to, shoot and edit and all that. And my friends and I developed a show called My Three Scums, which was kind of a horror comedy, super offensive take on My Three Sons. But it really allowed me to flex filmmaking muscles and started to dabble in special effects makeup and all these things built around the show of this family of monsters and freaks that live together and kind of get back at society. And almost like Munsters, like the Munsters on acid. And I sent a copy of our best episode to Trauma in New York, put it in a giant computer box, huge, and then filled the rest of the room up with helium balloons and flyers and all this stuff. A month later, I get a letter from the president of the company saying, hey, thanks for the balloons and the copy of your show. You're a really talented filmmaker. We'd love to have you come out if you're ever in Hell's Kitchen and visit us. And it's like when I was growing up in Duluth, like we're talking zero, encouragement for the independent arts, especially if you're into weirder arts. And I was just like, and I'm a huge fan of their movies. So I'm like, oh my God. So I instantly book a flight to New York, show up on their doorstep, and he drops everything and we hang out in his office for like half an hour, invites me to come out and intern on their next film, The Toxic Avenger Part 4, Citizen Toxie. And I'll be like, oh, that's like, getting the invite from Martin Scorsese at the time. It was like, holy crap. I instantly fly back to Duluth, quit my job, cash out my savings. I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to live on somebody's, dining room floor. Like life is a series of opportunities that you take or you don't take. And that's where everything goes, Yeah. It's like, if I didn't take that one little opportunity, chances are I'd still be filing medical record charts.
How does that get you to LA? Like, hold up.
So I basically my first day on the job is I'm getting product placement in the office. Second day on the job, they say, hey, there's an opening in special makeup effects and creature effects at the studio in Brooklyn that's doing all the effects on our movie. If somebody wants to go over there, and I'm like, yes.
Whoa.
I take a train out to Brooklyn. I show up on Tim Considine in Direct Effects. It's their company. Tim takes me under his wing and becomes my mentor. He started teaching me everything from the ground up. And after the film had completed, I was just an intern, but I was getting my feet wet on the film. And by the end of the film, I became a full-time assistant for Tim. So we're working on Broadway shows. We're making the bald caps for SNL. I'm making dentures for Ben Stiller and Rolling Stone. And it was just kind of, and a couple other independent features. And then 9/11 hits and there's no work. And everybody's terrified. Nobody knows when it's going to come back. Nobody knows if the Empire State Building is going to get blown up next. Terrifying time. Because of the president of that production company, Lloyd, and my mentor, Tim, they both referred me to this guy, Rob Hall, in LA, like, oh, check in with him. I think he has an effects shop. I check in with him while I'm visiting. He just got Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In less than a week, all of a sudden I'm working on Angel and Buffy. And it's just like, I'm like, oh, well, I can't go back to New York. It's like, we'll see where this goes.
If you were speaking to yourself back then, if Jim could tell Jim something about just that part of life, what's the advice that you would give yourself?
Be more patient. Don't beat yourself up in the short term. And what I didn't realize is like when you start out, you think you're like insanely convinced that you are going to change the world in like a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, this might take 5 years. This might take 10. This might take 20 years. And make sure that you're okay with that.
What would you warn yourself about?
I would warn myself that almost everybody you meet that promises you any kind of opportunity is totally full of shit and is a joker and is a scumbag and has nothing but like selling fake dreams and hopes, and to not get caught up in that, because you will waste so much time and energy with the wrong people.
Where do you want to go in your next steps when it comes to who you are and how you want your career to move?
My next steps, like my dream goal is continuing to merge the worlds of film production, my writing, directing, producing, with our special makeup and creature effects studio. I think it's a culmination of everywhere I've been, everything I've been working towards, and everything I want that I haven't reached. And it's merging those worlds to kind of show you that there was no wasted time.
What does that mean for the world that Jim creates as a department head? What would you want people to know when they step into your environment, in your world, when you are the department head of special effects?
That I'm very laid back and I'm very understanding. If you have questions, like there's no dumb questions, like please don't make a mistake. But also, I'm really trusting you. I'm going to set up what you're supposed to do, and I want you to run with it. I hate micromanaging, and I hate being micromanaged. So I'm not going to do that. I want you to be your own artist still, but within our world, you know?
Yeah. Where does your career switch from not just being the person who's the specialist in the lab or the application artist, but to actually being a lab owner?
Well, I spent a lot of years working at a lot of the different effects studios in LA, and had a great time. Worked on a lot of great projects. But I also started to realize that it's kind of tough to get ahead on this 9-to-5 deal, and in a lot of cases, it's the boss that makes all the money, and everybody else kind of just gets by, and I know that's part of the deal. But I started taking my own little side gigs, just in utilizing my one-car garage, as my effects studio at home. I just that was over a course of many years, testing the waters on small projects where I would do a few things, and that worked out well enough that it was like, okay, we can make the jump. And we opened the doors about 6 years ago now, and we're still going strong.
What would be the ideal way we started functioning coming back to Jim's mind?
We would love to do more package deals where, like a lot of VFX studios do. Like they'll do package deals where, we'll do VFX on the project, but they'll also be like an involved producer. But I don't see that happen much in the makeup and creature effects world. And I don't see any reason why it can't.
If we were to put you on the spot and ask you who your favorite department is other than makeup and effects.
I think like a great costume department is incredible because we have to work so closely with them, and they can also make your life hell. If they don't want to work with you, like, no, I'm not cutting a hole in this for your blood tube. But when they do want to collaborate with you and work with you, especially during pre-production, and it's the best.
What is some advice that you would give to new and budding special effects makeup artists about working with and communicating with your actor?
I find it really helpful to, sometimes makeup artists will be just kind of quiet around their actors, and you might get that vibe from the actor that they want things kind of quiet, and that's fine. But until I get that vibe, I like to, at least up front, explain to them exactly what's going to happen, how long it's going to take, how long it's supposed to take, and just break it down just very simply so they feel like they're part of the same team and they're not just a subject they're being worked on, you know? And then also, like, and now in the pandemic age, making sure that they know what safety precautions you're taking. That obviously they can see whether you've got the face shield or the mask, you've got the gloves.
I also want to ask you as a filmmaker, because you are that as a whole, what is it about film that you love so much?
Well, I mean, I grew up already just from as a kid, like being mesmerized by film. And I saw E.T. in the theater 7 times. I saw Gremlins 3 times. Like the moment I knew I needed this in my life, like forever, Duluth had a tiny little film festival, and we submitted the Halloween special of My Three Scums. Theater was packed, and this whole theater starts laughing, and they're loving it. To this day, there has never been a better feeling.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you made your feature that you had been wanting to make for a while. You wrote this script, am I correct?
Yes.
You directed it as well, is that correct?
Yep.
And your lab was in charge of all the effects and the makeup, correct?
Yep, exactly.
As well, were you also a producer in this?
Yep. Yeah, I had to do everything, yeah.
Did it umbrella Ojala Productions all together? Taking care of this film?
It did. It was like the dream that I had been working towards. It's a feature film called Strange Nature that I knew when I needed to make my first feature film that it needed to be something that would also not be about, but incorporate makeup and creature effects, because that's what I do for a living. That's what I can bring to the table, you know?
So what was the biggest stressor then? You take on all these roles, and even though you have a team behind you, bringing your worlds together, what was a negative aspect?
There's so many unexpected negatives, and it's all about how you deal with it. It's very important to, even if you're totally freaking out inside, to never let that show. Because as soon as other people lose confidence in the captain, that ship's going down. But as long as you never stop and panic, you always have a chance to cross the finish line.
Yeah, always forward. For those of you out there watching, this is Jim Ojala. He has his own production company, Ojala Productions, is also an amazing application makeup artist, an amazing department head. I'm a really talented writer and director, and I hope to be making one of your films one day, Jim. That would be so
Thank you.
cool.
That would be dream come true.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It's really great to get to know you, and I'm really excited for a lot of other people to get to know all the facets of your personality that make you an expert in what you do. And that's not single faceted. So thank you, Jim. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.